Hi everyone. Hope y'all are doing well, having a great Monday. I am recording this on Sunday, like usual, just to kind of give you heads up of what you're going to be working with throughout this upcoming week. And of course, I do want to provide some overview for Unit 2, because that is the unit that we're going into at this point in the class. I do know that we're getting to the point in the semester where you're probably getting a little bit tired. Unit 1 is beefy and long. It seems like the introductory part of this class goes on for a bit. So again, I know that you're probably feeling a little bit fatigued. We are to that point in the semester where things are starting to get busy with all of your classes, not just this one. So I do want to really encourage you just to stay the course. Get as much rest as you can. Make sure you're taking care of you, because that's extremely important, especially, I mean, it's always important, but especially right now, given everything that we're dealing with in our world. And of course, do reach out to me if you have any questions. I wanted to just say that up front. It's very important, and I wanted you all to kind of have that as a starting point for this particular check-in video. All right, so let's move into course content. So, for this particular week, or starting this week, you're going to be working with Unit 2. This is the first major unit for this class that includes elements that are going to, of course, tie throughout the remainder of the class. Unit 1 has some as well, but the tie-throughs that you're going to be experiencing in this particular unit are going to be assignment-based, meaning they're going to be things that you're going to be revisiting again and again as you move throughout the remainder of the course. So, of course, going to content, you have Unit 2 is analyzing poetry. I do recognize that not everyone, poetry is not everyone's jam. It might not be the thing that you enjoy the most. I'll be honest with you, when it comes to genres, this is probably the one that I struggled with the longest. For the longest time in my undergraduate and even getting into graduate school. But I have gotten a lot more comfortable with it. And one of the things that I want to encourage you to do with this unit, just like with Unit 1, is make sure you're going through all the course content and really reading it carefully. All of that is going to be really useful. I apologize if you hear my kid yelling in the background. Her and my wife are playing Wii. This particular unit is really going to provide you with a lot of key information starting out that will be useful to you as you move throughout the module, throughout this particular unit, and of course as you move into future ones. So make sure that you go through the organizer, make sure you go through the checklist of what you're going to need to do. Do go through the what is poetry and the key poetic terms. That's going to be important because a lot of these terms you're going to refer back to in assignments such as your discussion boards for the unit, but also looking at the larger assignments you're going to do later on down the road. Of course, do make sure, of course, to click into the poetry selections for this unit. There's some actually really cool poems to look at here. Some that are more classic in nature and some that are might be a little bit more modern. I do encourage you to take a look at those and, of course, get familiar with all of them. But, of course, as you're reading through them, also get comfortable with certain ones that you really like a lot, and they'll be really useful to you for future assignments. Now, when you're looking at what's due this week, again, strictly thinking about this week, you are going to be looking at how to analyze poetry. Now, analyzing poetry can be a little bit challenging. Again, poetry is not everyone's strong suit, but there are certain things that you are going to pick up on, probably somewhat naturally, but also this particular unit is going to do a good job of kind of providing you with an overview of how to go about analyzing poetry in a meaningful way. To be perfectly honest with you, a lot of the things that you do when you're analyzing literature, when you're analyzing film or music or anything like that, you're also going to utilize with looking at poetry. So again, a lot of those things do carry over, but there are also going to be some things that are very specific to poetry that you will examine within this unit. So again, make sure to digest the things to remember about poetry analysis. Do look at the sample analysis. That's going to be really important. It's going to help you and serve as kind of a base for you to build upon as you move throughout this unit. And of course, your assignment that's due this week, it is due by Thursday, February the 18th at 11:59, is analyzing a poem. So let's click into this. Again, this is the purpose of this particular board, is to kind of get you comfortable with doing close reading and close analysis of poetry. So you will choose one of the poems out of the poetry selections. Again, I told you to read all of those, but of course, as you're reading, do get comfortable with at least a couple that you can choose from and that you can talk about in a pretty clear and meaningful way. Do, of course, make sure that you explain what drew you to the poem, what you find intriguing about it. You can connect this to a variety of different things. And I would, of course, make sure to utilize the vocabulary within this unit. So I mentioned some of the key terms that you'll want to keep in mind. Do pull those in. Do find at least one quotation from the poem and deliver it with a signal phrase and punctuate it properly. And of course, you'll see a link here that helps with that. This is going to be important not just for this assignment, but it's also going to be important as you look toward future assignments for this unit and otherwise. One of the things that you'll realize pretty quickly, and of course this is also a carryover, I imagine, for most of you from English 1101, is that when you're going to insert a piece of text, particularly if it's directly quoted, you do want to have some kind of lead-in phrase that gets you into the quote, and then of course make sure to punctuate it appropriately. And of course this will be something else that I'll talk about moving forward, but this is a good place to kind of get exposure to that and kind of practice it a little bit. And of course, suggest which of the 4 modes of poetry analysis, oral, visual, symbolic, or thematic, drive the poem and why you believe that's the case. And of course, here are other links and other things that will help you that's from course content. You'll do that and you'll respond to two of your classmates thoughtfully, and that will complete this board. Again, this is due Thursday, this coming Thursday, the 18th by 11:59. If you have any questions about this board, please let me know. I will help you out as much as I can. There is a rubric, of course, for how this will be graded. I do encourage you to look at that. One of the things I like about teaching this class is that I'm never going to at any point try to hide how things are going to be graded. It's going to be very available to you here, or you can always go under assessments and look at the rubrics, and you'll have access to all the rubrics for the class there as well. All right, so that is what you just do this week. I also encourage you to look throughout other parts of Unit 2 and just kind of get familiar with what other discussion boards are coming up, what other assignments are coming up, because one of the things that this particular unit is going to do is it is going to get you kind of in the groove of major assignments that you're going to be working with moving forward. So of course there's the analyzing poetry. There is also going to be where you're going to look at Semiotic School of Literary Criticism and Poetry. You're also going to look at how to start an annotated bibliography, because that, if you go back to your syllabus, is an assignment that does come back in future units where you will add to it, you will modify it, you will do more with that work. And of course, this particular unit has your first essay. Not due right now, so don't freak out. But I do encourage you, outside of just tackling what's due for this week, by Thursday, I also encourage you to take a look at what is due further on in Unit 2. This is the part of the class where you do want to kind of start looking at a unit holistically and really kind of digesting what you're going to need to do throughout the coming weeks, outside of what's just due for the current week. All right, let me move this back to me. All right, so I hope that's helpful. Again, if you have questions about content for this week or what's happening throughout Unit 2, please let me know. I'll be more than happy to help you. One last thing I do want to mention. So I have received a good number of the literary criticism presentations, PowerPoints with voiceovers and things like that. Thank you for getting those to me. If you do not have that turned in yet, do know that you still can. I'm still going to be flexible with the due date for that because I know there were some technological issues with a good number of you. So again, if you want to still get that to me and you haven't already, email me, let me know. I'll make sure to open the Dropbox up and we'll make sure to get that in. My goal for grading that is to grade some every night throughout this week. I can't promise that I'll have them all done by Friday, although that is my goal. I'll get them back to you as soon as I possibly can so that when I get the first Unit 2 discussion boards, I can pick up with those and start grading and giving you feedback. Just like you all are going to have due dates coming up a little bit faster than happened in the first unit, I am going to have a lot of things coming in to grade, and my goal is to stay on top of that as much as I can. If I can't get things back to you within the week time frame outlined in the syllabus, of course I'll let you know that. But again, the literary criticism presentations that were due, I revised it, that were due Saturday morning or Sunday morning. It was due recently. I will be working to get those graded throughout this week, and you'll get detailed feedback about that. So again, as always, questions, comments, concerns, whatever it is you have, please let me know. You can email me. You can reach me during office hours on Fridays from 1 to 3. I'm available to help you in any way that I can. So I've enjoyed looking at your work so far this semester. Y'all are doing some good stuff. I really do appreciate your work. Again, if you need anything, please let me know. Take care.